and action.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the Ingram Microcloud monthly podcast. We are all SureStep BDMs working across the Microsoft Cloud stack. My name is Martyn Hall, and I'll allow my colleagues to introduce themselves now.
Go on, Nicola, you go first.
Nearly went then, didn't we? Say we all. So my name is Nicola Miller. I am the business development manager for Modern Workplace on the SureStep team.
And my name is Mike Markey. I'm also a business development manager on the SureStep team.
So SureStep is a global program, which is from Microsoft, and the team consists of 5 members, although we do have 2 that are missing today. So missing is John Papadakis, who is in Azure. And we have a new newbie who will be on next month. That's Armando Rodriguez, who works with myself and Mike within the Modern Workplace. And then we have the lovely Martyn Hall that works in Dynamics. And essentially our role is really to help enable partners by supporting them through the Microsoft journey. And essentially we act in a kind of a parachute motion. We drop in to support with sales opportunities and deliver training, really just enabling you to be more efficient and to sell more and be more effective too.
I think that's the first time you described me as lovely, Nicola. Thank you.
Ah, you are
so
lovely.
Nice.
See? Can be nice now and again. Can't do it all the time because then it makes you feel better, you see.
It does.
Gives you this warm feeling.
Yeah. It's coming around to Christmas, isn't it? So everyone's going to be that nice, happy dappy, share everything. But yes, it is November, and this month we will cover off community call updates, and we're going to cover off Ignite, which very much feels like the same subject, I think.
Yep. Seems.
Yeah, I think so.
Your community call went very much in talking about Ignite.
Yep, completely 100%. Ignite, the updates from Ignite that they actually couldn't get them all in. There's lots and lots of pages, and bless the product managers and the solutions architect. They just couldn't fit all everything in. So what we will do, we'll put the book of contents down the bottom so you can go in and have a look at it, and we'll put the link in. Really, really strongly suggest you look at it, because actually we'll go through some of the stuff today, but necessarily we won't be able to get through all of it because there is just so much, which is good.
Yeah, Ignite had a week. We've got 40 minutes. So, yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you want to go first, giving some updates from Ignite, or would you like me to go first?
I don't mind. We can go first. Do you want to go first, Mike?
Yeah, we can go first, because I think we were last but not least last time, I think.
Well, we like to give the other guys a little bit of a chance to start off with, don't we, these days? So, because we do seem to monopolise most of it these days. Everything comes out of Modern Workplace.
Well, let's start monopolising today then. So I think first, as tradition kind of stands, there are a couple of statistics which kind of came out of Ignite. So with kind of the recent Nobelium attacks and things, obviously cybersecurity has been massive on the radar at the moment. And if you didn't know what that is, you'll be able to find out about it if you literally just search in Nobelium. But essentially, they were targeting kind of delegated admins of resellers to get that customer information, trying to go in that way. So there's maybe a couple of steps, if you haven't already, implement the likes of MFA, your Windows Hello for Business, smart cards, just anything for 2-factor authentication. But those statistics, so cyber attacks have increased, obviously, because everything went digital during COVID. What percentage, Martyn, do you think cyber attacks increased by globally?
Oh God, it's got to be something like, 220%?
Oh, you're so close.
Is that really?
You're so close, 238%.
Oh, wow.
They've increased by globally. And 60% of SMBs apparently lack the skills in-house to deal with cyber attacks. And 90% of kind of new MSPs are considering hiring, when offering the right solution. So, yeah, it's really kind of front of mind at the moment for these partners and even customers, making sure that their data is just as secure as a partner who's dealing with them, because ultimately, we've seen it before, and we'll probably see it again if someone's not prepared. if someone's got the right tools for a cyber attack, then kind of, they're well prepared, and it stops them from, potentially going under and losing all the business. So, yeah.
I think the security is such a huge topic now. Ignite has been dominated by security in terms of we've also got a name change on the cards, which we'll pick up later.
Yeah.
We've got another name change. But in terms of security, and I think one of the things that Microsoft also announced at Ignite, I nearly said Inspire, I always get them confused. They sound far too much alike, is the Defender for Business. So Defender for Business, essentially an endpoint solution, but for SMB, which is great because it gets an SMB price tag to it. Or if you are a business premium customer, or you're an advocate of the business premium SKU, actually gets encompassed within that SKU. So it comes out next year. Currently it's at $3, which is about £2.30 per user per month.
Yep.
So in terms of that, it just gives another great add to the to that business premium, along with Lighthouse that was announced at Inspire, which has been long awaited. The fact that you've got these two great tools that are coming in from Lighthouse and Defender for Business, it just shows you, where Microsoft have been, they committed $20 billion to actually the security, and you can see that actually this is now coming through. It's not just talk, they're action upon it, and the actual tools that they're giving you to utilize and make sure that, Ed Dale, the readiness company, always talks about his belts and braces when it comes down to security. This really does give you that belts and braces and the visibility. It's all good having the belts and braces, but it's actually good to have the visibility and see what's going on within the portals as well.
Yeah. Do you know what I think is really interesting? So obviously Microsoft Defender for Business has come along, and it's just added to the reason why partners and customers alike should be looking at Microsoft 365 Business Premium. But if you look at the value add now of, say, Business Premium and what's actually in there, your base license, which many partners are still transacting in M365 Business Standard, is £9.40 per user per month. Now, when you add on top of that, you're getting the features such as Defender for Business, Defender for Office 365 Plan 1, Intune, Azure Active Directory Premium Plan 1, Information Protection Premium Plan 1, Exchange Online Archiving, Autopilot, Azure Virtual Desktop License, Windows 10 or 11 Business, depending on which license, and Shared Computer Activation. That's 10 additional features. Even if you added those, which, you'd be looking well over the cost of £15.10. So I think that kind of bundled SKU is absolutely huge at the moment for value point of view.
And you've got Litigation Hold, which is now in Business Premium. So, we talk about E3 making the shift from an enterprise grade SKU to an SMB size SKU. And Litigation Hold was sometimes that sticky point. That's now in Business Premium. So essentially the only thing that if you do really, really need it is the cows, and that's it. And even then you can buy a perpetual license. So, it really will be, in terms of the SMB size game, in terms of, like, as you say, the breaches, in terms of people trying with the password sprays, all that kind of stuff, that SMB SKU stands shoulder to shoulder with those enterprise SKUs and the security that Microsoft are offering on both parts, which is really, really good. Yeah.
And when you start to think of, say, the commercial aspect as well, if you are looking at it from a partner's point of view, the kind of way in which it's incentivized and things, the value's definitely in there, but the incentives piece as well, it's transferring into NCE as well. So Microsoft is still seeing this as a huge hero SKU with taking kind of standard out, as of earlier this year. So I think going strength to strength, and those 11 features, I did read them all off a list because there was that many that was kind of involved with it.
You can see your face illuminating every now and again.
I was just like, okay, this one's next. But it's like the list could go on, and it probably will do. Yes, there's a price increase coming, but I think it more than justifies now why it is the price that it
just
will
for those two things alone, that's $3. It's only going up $2. So technically, you're down $1 already, essentially. So in that sense, and I say, in terms of what they've added in, one thing also with the Defender for Business is actually you can also use it in Google Workspace and on Apple devices.
Yeah.
So, so it goes across platform as well. So,
yeah, and when you start to, because it's obviously an SMB SKU, if you're comparing it to the likes of the enterprise versions, so Plan 1 and Plan 2, depending on which one you'd prefer, the feature set is so close to Defender for Endpoint Plan 2. Do you know, it's bonkers. I don't know how they've done it.
It's only two things that they haven't got, and I think that's the Threat Expert and also the Threat Hunting.
Yeah.
From that, it's got everything, but then it's got the integration with Lighthouse, which you don't have with Plan 2, and the simplified client configuration. So actually, it's more simplified, and it's got that set wizard with it as well. So it's more SMB user friendly because you haven't got to have a degree in it essentially to set it up.
Yeah,
which is always helpful.
Yeah, definitely. And I think to add to that, Microsoft have done a fantastic job. Usually they don't usually shout about these new products like Litigation Hold coming into the SKU, etc. That wasn't really shouted about, so we're doing that on the floor for Microsoft to the partners. But I think with them releasing Microsoft Defender for Business, they've actually already got those webinars in place. We'll probably see it on cloud partners soon as well within the Transform. Do you know that it's here? So if you are looking to kind of visit, do you know, and be educated around what this product actually does, there's a webinar going ahead on November 18th at 4:00. We'll drop the link in below just so then it's available for you to go register. Even if you're not available on the day, like I'm not, because I'll be golfing in Turkey somewhere. Just had to throw that one out. But yeah, go ahead and view it on demand because it'll be available for you, and pretty good watch, I think, as well.
One thing also, just still want to harping on about the Business Premium SKU playbook. Keep an eye on the playbook. The playbook is constantly being updated. Whoever thought of putting all the information in one place, just is genius, essentially. Just making life that little bit more simple rather than playing hide and seek around the partner centers or around docs.microsoft. The part that playbook is genius now, so it keeps you updated. Whoever keeps it updated is pretty much on it by the minute as well. So we'll put that link in here as well, because actually it doesn't just tell you what you can do. It gives you the size of opportunity, it'll give you the technical guidance, the sales guidance, and then the management and deployment as well. So it'll give you all sorts of things, and some of the content that I'm picking out and talking to partners with, they're absolutely loving it, and you just it's just in this link here. It's really easy to get hold of, and there's a security and compliance one, which leads us on probably quite nicely to security and compliance around Azure. Essentially, I know that Mr. Papadakis isn't with us today, so we'll fly the flag for him. However, Microsoft being Microsoft, dun dun dun, there is a name change, isn't there, Michael?
Several name changes, actually. Yeah. Just when we thought we were getting round kind of the new security name changes.
I think we should get Martyn to guess what they're called. So we give him what they're called, and I think Martyn should have a hazard a guess as what the new name change is.
Yeah.
Go on then.
So I'll kick off then. So Azure Sentinel being the service that it's currently called, what's the updated name?
Azure
Portcullis.
We're gonna drop the name Azure out of all of these. So Azure's no. So the Sentinel's staying, but Azure's going.
Oh, is it going to be like Defender Sentinel?
Not quite. In one of the other ones.
Nearly.
That one, but,
proper on brand then, wouldn't it?
Well, even more on brand. It's going to be called Microsoft Sentinel.
Okay.
Yeah. So the second. So this is encompassing two into one. So Azure Defender and Azure Security Center. What will the updated name be?
I would just go Microsoft Security.
Not quite, but you got the first one right. Yeah. Go on, Nicola.
There's a trend appearing here.
So it's Microsoft Defender for Cloud, that one. Nicola, you can do the last two.
Okay, so Azure Defender for IoT is now being changed to
Microsoft Defender IoT.
For IoT, yeah.
Yep,
Bravo, well done.
Wow.
Actually, there you are.
Let's get the applause logo in there.
See, I've done an actual one. And then Microsoft Cloud App Security.
Microsoft Cloud App Security.
Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps. It's a really shoddy game of guess who, really, isn't it? Or guess the name. But essentially, what they've done, they've stripped out the Azure piece and added a Microsoft tag to it, essentially. With that security and compliance bit is really where modern workplace and Azure blend together. So essentially, rather than having it in like two separate silos and that blend, they're trying to bring everything together. So
it's probably better like that though, because
totally.
rather than branding it one thing or the other,
Yep.
it's going to be used for both clouds generally anyway. So yeah, just drop it all together.
Yeah, it's it does really add to that Microsoft Defender portfolio, because now you've got the cloud apps, you've got the IoT, the Sentinel. So yeah, as you say, as opposed to kind of siloing each one to cloud, it's just Microsoft all up, which I think it'll be easier for partners with regards to this one now.
I think it also takes away from it's got Azure, so if we don't do Azure, it takes away that the in terms of when it comes down to cloud, we don't do Azure. But actually some of the cogs and parts, essentially, you need some of that Azure, certainly things like Azure AD or stuff along those lines. So necessarily, I think it just takes away that kind of bit where, it just sort of brings it all into one area as opposed to trying to split it out into silos or into clouds, essentially.
Yeah, it's, and to find out kind of any information around these, because there's a whole host of kind of other features, naming conventions that was there at Ignite. You can really visit the Microsoft 365 roadmap, and this will tell you kind of which product's in update, kind of which ring it's in, so general availability, public preview, private preview, etc., and when it's due to kind of be released. And it also, if there's any notes attached to it as well, so why it might be delayed, what's actually up and coming and things. So it's pretty cool. And bringing into the roadmap, there is actually a bit of an update on the demo roadmap as well. So with all of those Defender pieces that we've actually just kind of announced, the customer demo experience that the three of us are very familiar with. If you're not, as a partner, essentially a sandboxed environment that you can kind of create an environment and click as many buttons as you like within that environment without breaking your own device. So you can really get to grips and kind of demonstrate to a customer, this is what such a product does. They do come available with demo scripts as well, so you don't need to be a kind of wizard, if you like, in those areas. But all of those Defender products, they're actually on the roadmap for becoming available in cloud and customer demo experience portal very soon.
Indeed.
Cool.
And I think that's probably about it. I mean, I did a little bit about Black Friday in terms of the Surface bits. I know Surface is your big love, and obviously you've got a Surface, Michael.
Yeah, I did wear the hoodie today because I did see there was some Surface Black Friday news that came out. Obviously, we're not in the consumer channel, but Microsoft have heard the feedback throughout this channel, not our YouTube channel, but like the commercial channel, and there is a couple of offers going live. So the Pro X, you can save up to 20%. Modern accessories, you can save up to 30%. Definitely speak with your Surface representative. They'll be able to kind of point you in the direction of these, but there's no volume cap on them. Be quick, because they kind of I think it'll fly out and be in no volume cap, because people will be wanting to kind of sandbag them potentially for later purchasing or release of orders. And you've also got 3 weeks notice now. Well, 3 weeks notice from when Microsoft released it. Not sure how long to when you actually watch this.
Could be. It could have actually, to be fair, it could be New Year and you could have completely missed it.
Yeah. So here's one. As a personal state, is there anything you're looking for, both of you, for Black Friday outside of the whole Microsoft sphere? What was it your kind of eyes on for? What would you like?
I need a gaming chair for my son.
Yeah,
or a TV. Okay. They're my two things. I've got a fridge, so I've sorted that out. Buys that.
No, I just thought I would.
Oh, okay. I mean, I could do with some concealer to conceal my 2 black eyes. So, obviously something
no
maybe
one
like
would have noticed.
Face mask or something like that for when I'm playing football. Something,
And what about yourself, Martyn?
Do you know, it sounds really sad. There is actually nothing I need right now, and that's because.
How about what you want, not what you need?
All that I want, and I say that because the last 2 weeks I've just gone and spent like far too much. I'm not going to say how much. Far too much money on Amazon getting stuff for Christmas and just getting stuff in general. And I was like, right, I'm done now. I'm done until the new year. Yep. There's a book. In fact, there is one thing, and it's a book, and you can't get it because it's out of print.
Oh, really?
You buy it secondhand if you want it, or import it from America.
Wow.
I don't think Mike's asking if you want to buy any. I don't think Mike's going to buy anything.
Mike, are you going to buy me a book for Black Friday?
No, I'm not buying a book for Black Friday.
You won't buy anything for you.
No, do you know what? I've just bought a telly. I've got all the electrics in the house, like the electronic stuff in the house. There's nothing really. I'm about to buy a new Xbox, in the coming days when the Halo one launches. There's actually nothing I'm kind of looking for. If anything, it would be curtains to put up around the house. So, but I don't know if Dunelm would do those. So, but yeah,
shops are available.
Yeah, but no, it's one of those. I think it's an interesting time of year, definitely. So, but with that, come on to something even more interesting, and we'll go Dynamics 365 with Martyn.
So, updates that we had, I'm going to loop back to something you were saying about the branding of Microsoft and Azure and kind of blurring the lines between modern work and Azure. I don't know how much you guys saw of it, but at Ignite, there was a lot of talk about things like Microsoft Cloud for X, like whether it's manufacturing, whether it's non-profit. So there's a lot more of that coming, and I'm really excited by that because it's been branded up as like almost a bundle of SKUs that would set up any business really well for those sectors.
That's pretty cool.
But I don't know. I've struggled to find this information, so maybe someone can tell me where to find it. What applications, what SKUs are included in, say, Microsoft Cloud for retail? How does one go about purchasing Microsoft Cloud for retail? And I say that really vaguely like that because I haven't seen anything for it. But whenever it's been announced and talked about like that, it's telling a story of these are the solutions that are built around those industries, and it encompasses things like Teams, like Dynamics 365 Sales, Power Platforms in there, Azure's in there. You've got e-commerce platform in there. Really, really awesome to bundle it all as one sort of SKU almost. But did you guys see any of that?
No, I've not seen anything, but I know. And I remember when we did a retail webinar a little while ago, the sector in retail, maybe Microsoft watched that and actually thought, wow, these guys know what we need. And
we gave them the ideas.
I think we did.
We need to get paid.
We need a cut.
Yeah, it's because I know traditionally someone talks retail. I know myself and Nicola will usually go, okay, for your office staff, you need, E3 licensing because the size of the business, etc. But for those on the shop floor, it'll be F1. And then we don't really discuss, the EPOS systems, the sales and finance and all that. But I think the SKU that you're talking about there, where it encompasses everything, I think that'd be really powerful. Is there a date on that? Do we know? Or
I didn't see any dates. The bit I saw was all talking about a hyper-connected business, and I will drop the link into the chat. But there was a really good session on that. I mean, it's actually pitched as more of a business applications video, but it encompasses all the things that you'd expect with Azure for hosting, you'd expect from Teams for collaboration, and it's all bringing it all together. And it's a really powerful demonstration. If you can go and watch that, and you can say, if you're the reseller and you're talking to your customers, if you bring it to life with a video like that, they're going to be like, wow, yes, I want that solution rather than I need 30 business premium licenses. Yeah.
It brings it all along together, doesn't it? So it stops it being disjointed as well. So you've got different technologies or different sort of using different things, it kind of makes it a bit more seamless.
And I think that's probably where we're going to see things go in the future. I'm speculating now, but I think this is where we probably see things change over the next maybe 2 to 3 years rather than the next 12 months. Because if you notice, a lot of the graphics that Microsoft are using now, they're talking about the Microsoft Cloud Stack being built on that identity and security layer, where you then put your Azure as the next layer up, and then you're talking about Power Platform, and then you've got your modern work and your business applications upon that. And if you then look at because where they pitched it was the next layer on top of all of that is when you're talking about the industry specific solutions.
I like the idea of it. I mean, I think it's about time we had it. I mean, when I was an operations manager, we were using different programs for different things all the time, and nothing really sat and sang together. Essentially, the EPOS system was doing one thing, the banking system was doing something else, the stock system, you had 2 different versions of it. So I think it's in terms of it just makes. Surely it's got, like anything with technology, someone's got to learn it somewhere along the line. If you're having to learn 5 or 6 different versions of a software or a program or technology, it's just so much easier just to learn one, isn't it?
Yeah. And one of the key things that's come out about from Ignite was talking about voice channel being added as well. So first party voice channel. And there's a really, really good video on that where they've got customer service as an application being used, where the example they used was Xbox support. Mike, I don't know if you've ever rung them, but if your Game Pass has run out, for instance, you could ring Xbox support and you're greeted by an IVR robot that literally tells you your Game Pass has expired. Do you want to renew? And the IVR takes you through that process of renewing, and it asks you if you need any further support for anything else. And you could say, yeah, actually there is, and it'll pass you through to a human agent. And on customer service, that application then is updated with the notes and the transcription from the IVR to show your existing journey as a customer. And then the human agent that picks up knows exactly where to pick up at that escalation point.
That's amazing, that.
And if that agent doesn't know how to deal with it, imagine then Teams is embedded into customer service. They know the person they need to just check something with, quickly type out a message with Teams embedded, get a response there and then, and go, yeah, it's all sorted for you, Mike.
Yeah. It's, even from a personal experience, I've been with, say, customer service lines at the moment through products I might have around the house. And some of the service, because I'm being passed from pillar to post, and the notes aren't rectified or they're not kind of available, I'm having to repeat the same story to several individuals. And
equally, I've got the same thing. I have an issue with a telly that seems to have died, even though it's about 14 months old.
That's where you got the bruises from. You headbutted it, didn't you?
It didn't just die. You killed it off.
Tottenham must have lost.
Tottenham on TV, but I can't talk to a human being. They won't. There's no such thing. There's not even, there's no bot. There's no nothing. And this is a big retailer. Essentially they just want to pass me off to the actual supplier of the TV. I've spoken to them, they're like, that's not our problem, you need to go back to them, but you can't speak to them. It's but so to have that, even if you're, okay, you can understand that, manpower is an expensive commodity, it's an expensive resource, but to have that and then follow that through, that's amazing. Seamless as well.
Integrating voice into customer service has been around for a while, but it's always been different channels or developing customer service to work with something else to do that and bring the transcription together. But this is all under one roof now, and this is all being made as a really seamless customer experience. And I think businesses that can adapt and adopt this kind of way of working are going to set themselves up for really good customer service. Really good customer service. So really good news from that from Microsoft, and I'll also drop in the link for that one as well, because I think if you do watch the video, that's kind of living the dream as customer service goes. couple of other updates I'll do the Ignite ones first. So it's a shame John couldn't join us, actually, because Powerapps is now changing slightly, and by changing I actually mean there's a new option for Powerapps where you can do pay-as-you-go plan.
Okay.
Right. So whereas you used to license it as a per user or a per app license, you can now do pay-as-you-go. And pay-as-you-go is, I think it's labeled up as like $10 per month, and it's all paid through an Azure subscription. So you could develop an app and just say it's a really large organization, say Ingram, for instance, with 30-odd thousand worldwide. If you've got an application you're launching and you don't know how many people are going to use it any given month, you could do pay-as-you-go and you get charged against your Azure subscription. So it's only based on the active users in any given month.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
So if you're talking about, if you go for per app, great. If someone's going to use it every single month, awesome. You know exactly what the cost is, and you know it's going to have to be that month in, month out. But if you don't know what your usage is, because you've got a very large group to work it out by, save someone going, I need another license of this month, or I need another license of this, and now we can dial it back a little bit now. Yeah. Takes that all out of the equation and just put it against an Azure subscription.
Yeah. Imagine all billing went like that, just for the apps or services that you used.
What, even your Office, if you don't use it for a month?
Even Office.
Really?
I think you're fine.
Who wouldn't use Teams for a month?
That's what I was thinking.
Especially when the daily active user count is just rising all the time. So
175 million.
Yeah.
I knew you'd get a stat in here.
Gotta get a stat in, haven't you? Oh, well, Martyn was nicking my thunder early, wasn't he, about statistics? So, we've got to try and chuck one in somewhere along the line.
Well, I don't have any stats. I just have living the dream kind of visions coming out, and there's a lot of talk about integration to Teams directly into Dynamics.
Yes. Yeah. There was a bit. To be fair, there was some of that in our community call. But again, it was quite brushed over quite quickly, and I wasn't sure if I was stealing your thunder, Martyn.
No, so there's quite a bit that they talk about with linking records as well. So if you're in a specific sales opportunity, for instance, and you need a bit of support, you could be reaching out to someone on Teams, and it'll link directly to that record, so they get visibility of that. We talked a few months back about how Dynamics data could be exposed through Teams naturally, and I think this is kind of the reverse, where they're bringing the Teams functionality into Dynamics. And it's just allowing people to just work with whatever they're more familiar with and whatever they feel most comfortable with. So if you're more familiar and more comfortable just using Teams as the application, you could dial into Dynamics essentially through that. But actually, if you're using Dynamics day in, day out, you could dial into Teams via Dynamics. And again, it's blurring that line between business applications as a whole and your Teams application. There's huge amounts that have been leveraged around the data insights as well. Okay. So Power BI is going to be included in chats, meetings, and calendar invites for Microsoft Teams, which is going to be interesting. I didn't see the update for that. It was just a note that I've written down, and I thought that will be interesting. I'd like to see how that looks. And there's also a lot more about AI as well. So AI Builder is something that's been used already, and it's been used for like business card scanning and different SharePoint form fills and stuff like that. But there's also the option now to integrate your own AI model if you've developed your own and bringing it in. Again, this is probably something that John would probably like, because it's more of an Azure kind of thing that you'd expect with training AI. But it's now, again, blurring the lines between the different clouds that Microsoft are talking about.
It's exciting times.
It is exciting times.
Exciting times to be alive, boys.
Some bits that were specific to the community call was talking about custom stories. The BizApps team at Microsoft are really keen to hear about any stories, customer stories that you've got. Don't just make them up. Proper customer stories, no fiction. Gina Tim especially was the one calling this out, and she'd love you to send her an email with the subject line of #Let's Celebrate. So the next community call is going to call out some of those stories, which would be great. So I know we've got some really good implementations of Dynamics we've done. So any partners that we work with, please do send that in to Gina. There is also some training coming for Powerapps as well. And when I say Powerapps, it's actually bringing the Power Platform together. So it's more about, yes, you've got Powerapps, but bring Power Automate into it, bring Power BI into it, bring Power Virtual Agents into it as an app.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to just be, oh, I've got a lovely shiny app and I've got a couple of screens that I can do this, that, and the other on. It's what else will it do within that application?
Yep.
So that's actually on the 10th of December. So if you are watching before that, the link will be in the comments to allow you to sign up. I'd really recommend people go and do it, even if you're not technical, because it unlocks that art of the possible that Microsoft talk about, and I've talked about an awful lot before. When we talk Power Platform, it is low code, no code. It is only limited by people's imaginations. So if you have a challenge that you think you could solve with an application of some kind, then Power Platform is really well suited to that. And that's my updates.
Also, one thing, have we gone through the skills challenge?
We have not, but that does cover all 3 clouds.
Exactly. See? Good job I'm hearing it, boys, eh?
It is a good job, yeah.
So with Inspire...
Ignite.
No, let me carry on. With Inspire this year, they've done the same thing with Ignite. So myself and Mike done the skills challenge for Inspire. You may have seen on his LinkedIn that he has passed his SC 900. I'm in the process of doing mine. But they're equally at Ignite this year. They're also doing another skills challenge. So we done it. It was actually relatively easy. All you've just got to do is give up a little bit of your time for 1 week, and that's it. But in terms of the actual the skills that are on board, so you have things along the lines like Team Admin Challenger, you have Azure Development Challenger, you've got Dynamics 365 Supply Chain Management Challenge. So there's all different challenges. I think there's 12 in total. Am I right in saying 12? Good. So there's 12 in total. And basically, you select a challenge that you would want to do. You complete the challenge, and then you basically get a Microsoft certification exam. So essentially, you get yourself a free exam. So you get the learning and the exam. So you just need to it is a challenge. So essentially, you have to do something with regards to the learning piece of it, but it tells you when you all sign up to it. We'll add it in. But, if you are engaging and you are kind of utilizing social media, then Microsoft would like you to use the Cloud Skills Challenge as the hashtag. But essentially that starts the first week of December. So it's 30th of November to the 7th of December. And essentially it's 4:00 every day. It was about an hour every day, wasn't it, Mike, that we done as? Yeah. Really nice, quite tangible in terms of the content that you took in. And then, it's an hour end of the day, which is quite a nice time of the day to do it. And we got our vouchers quite easy. And we got some test exams that went alongside with it. So I was really pleased with what we done.
Yeah, so I echo those comments. Everything was pretty self-explanatory, to be fair. Once you went into the process, complete the challenge, receive your voucher, book it, hopefully pass it. So yeah, fingers crossed you do too.
Yes.
If you're watching. and Nicola, for when you
and me, because I've still got to do mine. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that brings us to the end of this month's podcast, doesn't it?
I think it does. I think, to be fair, considering John's not here, I think we've kind of done pretty well. I think we've covered off his bits as well. Yeah, and next time we'll get that little white space in the bottom right corner. That can be for Armando. Yep. And we'll have him introduce and join us on the next podcast. But I'll let Martyn close us out.
It's perfectly fine. You kind of done it.
Oh,
if you want to find us on LinkedIn, please follow the QR codes that are on screen right now, or you can find us by searching any of our names. If you do want to reach out to us, please suggest some topics that you'd like us to cover in the future, or if you've just got questions you want to ask, please go ahead and ask some questions. But that does bring us to the end. So that's it from us, guys, for this month. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.
See you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.